Okay, with a Zoom Energizer, because one of the things, as I said earlier, is trying to get people away from their screen, or to do something physical so they're not just passively sitting and looking at a screen. One of the things you can do as a getting to know you exercise is a kind of treasure hunt in your house. So it depends how serious you want this to be. If you want to do it as a more sort of formal introduction session, you can say to everybody, reach for something on your desk that tells us something about you. So people don't leave their chair, but they pick up something. I've picked up a blue pen, show it to the camera. And then in turn, it will be, well, tell us the story of the item you've picked up. Well, for me, I can tell you a story about the blue pen, which is that when I worked in corporate life and I was a copywriter, they used to print the text in a galley form on a long piece of A4 paper. And the copywriters always used to mark their edits in blue, and the graphic designers used green and the buyers used red. So you always knew who'd written it. So for me as a copywriter, if I write in any color other than blue, it feels very unnatural to me because I spent years of being identified by the color blue ink. So there's a little story that's told you something else about me and my background, and everyone will have within reach something that tells you something about them. So that's one example. And why it brings energy is because it's not just looking at a person in this little square box, it's making them move a bit. The other one that's more of a game, and perhaps depending how you do it will be less obvious how you draw out a learning point, is a whole treasure hunt around the house. So you say to them, okay, you're going to find 3 things, a round thing, a green thing, and a fluffy thing. And then you give the health and safety warning. So you say, this is not a race, because you really don't want people to run around their house and fall over and hurt themselves. And really nobody wants to go to A&E at any time, but you especially don't want to go there now. So you say to them, and maybe you play some copyright-free music in the background while they do it, or you have some visual slide share going on while they do it. So you give them 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, how long you think it's going to take. Normally people do treat it as a race and they run anyway, but if you've given the health and safety warning, you can't stop them. So they go around the house and they find these 3 things, and then they bring them back to their camera. And what you've done is literally given them an energy boost, because they've stood up off their chair. Their creative mind is thinking, oh, what have I got that's green? What have I got that's furry or fluffy, or whatever it was that you've briefed them. And they've come back and they've piled it on their lap, and then they're waiting to see what's everybody else got. So they're full of excitement again. And then in turn, you get them to share these objects in front of their camera and talk about them. And then you can draw out whatever messages about creativity or whatever is the point of your talk. Now, physiologically, because you asked about neuroscience, what's happening is by moving, your heart is pumping more, your blood is moving more around your body, and your blood is bringing more oxygen to your brain. So therefore, it's an energizer, because your brain, if you've been sat still for too long, it starts getting a little bit stale, and any kind of movement is going to refresh that and give you a sort of ability to think more clearly.